Breaking news! A severe weather outbreak is expected today for parts of the Mississippi Valley, as well as all severe weather hazards likely. Hello, I am Pat from Pat's Path Predictor, and let's go ahead and dive right into this. Alright, so this is the situation we're dealing with right here. As you can see, we are still under a moderate risk, but there has been some changes, and we're going to talk about those. The moderate risk, first of all, is still parts of more of Illinois. It has expanded a little bit more to the north, I've noticed, but not too much further. The big stuff I'm looking at, let's take a look at the tornado risk. It used to be this one small area right here. It has expanded from just parts of Arkansas and Mississippi, now all the way up towards the tip of southern Illinois, as well as the boot heel of Missouri, southeastern Missouri, parts of Tennessee. There's that 15% risk within that hatch area, which means there's a 15% risk of tornadoes EF2 to EF5 within 25 miles of a point, so we're going to have to keep an eye out on that. The hail threat has also been upped in some areas. It was 15%. Now they have moved it up to 30% for parts of Missouri, Arkansas, Mississippi, Louisiana, and a slither of Tennessee, including Memphis. So there's that 30% within the hatched area, which means there is a 30% of 2-inch in diameter or more hail within 25 miles of a point. The wind threat hasn't changed that much, but it is still the largest threat out of all three of these. So there's still a 45% chance in that hatched area, which means there's a 45% chance of 65 knot winds within 25 miles of a point, as there is a QLCS line moving through today, so we're going to have to be keeping an eye out on that as the situation continues to develop. Now let's go ahead and go over the summary and synopsis. There is a moderate risk of severe thunderstorms across portions of Arkansas, Mississippi, Tennessee, Missouri, Illinois, Indiana, Kentucky. By the way, I forgot to mention that we're probably going to see a tornado watch at some point today. We don't know when. Probably up further to the north in like Chicago, we could see a severe thunderstorm watch or something like that. But we could see a tornado watch within this area right here. We'll have to keep an eye out as the situation develops, though. So I'll update you guys if they issue the watch or not. Summary. Numerous severe thunderstorms are expected across the Mid-South and lower middle Mississippi Valley and the Midwest. Tornadoes, some of which could be strong, widespread, and potentially significant, damaging thunderstorm winds, and large hail are likely, especially within the moderate and enhanced risk areas. That last sentence, tornadoes, some of which could be strong, widespread, and potentially significant, damaging thunderstorm winds, and large hail are likely, especially within the moderate and enhanced risk areas. That's the kind of language you do not want to hear. If any severe weather is likely, you do not want to hear that. I mean, unless it affects like rural areas, affects only fields, maybe that's fine. But yeah, this is going to be affected populated areas. So that's the situation we're dealing with. A severe storm outbreak is expected today into tonight. Widespread severe storms are likely across a very broad north-south region for the lower Mississippi Valley and mid-south into the Midwest, which atmospheric ingredients favorable for all severe hazards, including the potential for significant and intense severe thunderstorms. Mid-south to lower to middle Mississippi Valley in the Midwest. An upper trough in its axis centered over the high plains early today will eject northward towards the Midwest and Ohio Valley, which is with a pronounced strengthening of a mid-high level jet stream winds 80 to 110 knots, particularly over the Ozarks, Midwest, and Ohio Valley. These strong winds are related to height falls, forcing it for ascent will overspread the semi-moist boundary layer, low to middle 60s degrees Fahrenheit surface dew points across the Midwest ahead of an eastward moving cold front, with a more consequential moisture availability, upper 60s Fahrenheit, expected across parts of the Arklatex, Mid-South, lower Mississippi Valley, where several supercell-conducive wind profiles will exist even well south of the strongest portion of the polar jet. Speaking to early morning and atmosphere characteristics, the pre-dawn surface analysis in conjunction with the 0Z and 6Z via the perilous projection, upper air analysis trends to reflect some of the air mass impacts via persistent MCS and resultant MCV across the western Tennessee and nearby Arkla Miss. Observed a meso high and MSC aftermath dry air in the vicinity of the of the Arkla mist are expected to decay relatively early today, although these factors cast some uncertainty for the spatial details of the later day availability of rich moisture. For these reasons, along with the considerable amount of upstream early day convective cloud cover, an upward adjustment to the current moderate risk category does not appear pundit at this time. That said, regarding the early day MCV lingering outflow, an ample moisture reservoir over East Texas, 850 dew points at 12 plus C, is expected largely to replenish the broad within warm moist sector in the afternoon. Reference 12Z's Shreveport observed sounding, etc., which is about 7 o'clock in the morning in Central Time. So just keep that in mind. Which will be a benefit to notable eastward extending elevated mixed layer. For short-term discussion, just go to the sea mesoscale discussions 471, okay? By early to mid-afternoon, moderate to strong instability and steadily weakening CINH will place across the Arkansas, Louisiana towards the lower Mississippi Valley, where model forecasts have the Cape at around 2,000 to 3,000 joules per kilogram range. That's a conducive environment right there. If you're seeing Cape values of 2,000 to 3,000 joules per kilogram, you're seeing a pretty conducive environment right there. So everyone needs to keep that in mind and take these storms very seriously. Ample deep layer, low-level shear will be favorable for supercells initially capable of large hail or tornadoes. Discrete supercells ahead of the organizing squall line will have the potential for strong, intense tornadoes, including some that have potentially long track, particularly as the low-level jet further strengthens across the region later this afternoon to early evening. The corridor for strongest, longest duration tornado concern is focused across the Mid-South and Arkla Mist vicinity. Otherwise, potentially widespread, locally significant damaging thunderstorm wind gusts will evolve as the squall line organizes, intensifies, and moves eastward with embedded Boeing segments, although QLCS-related tornadoes can also be expected. A damaging wind tornado risk may linger into the late evening and overnight hours across portions of the Mississippi, Alabama, and southern Louisiana into the Florida Panhandle. This will be via a persistent of moist and strong confluent low-level flow, although 850 millibar winds are forecast to gradually weaken overnight. For areas across Missouri, Illinois, and Indiana, it appears likely that storms will increase in intensity, initially across southern Missouri as early as this morning in the vicinity. Okay, this just updated. In this vicinity of the outflow enhanced effective cold front. These storms will pose a damaging wind and some severe hail risk, especially in the afternoon as they organize and race east-northeastward. The potential for tornadoes will exist as well in dual scenarios, including any pre-squall line supercellular development and within the evolving QLCS itself, especially as storms encounter a dramatic strengthening southwesterly low-level jet, 50 to 60 knots at 850 millibars, across the southeast Missourian areas eastward across Illinois, Indiana, Kentucky. Tornadoes and potentially widespread locally significant damaging winds are likely, especially through the afternoon, early mid-evening hours. So, yeah, this is what we're dealing with at this point. We're looking at some potentially very strong winds, potentially very large hail. In fact, I thought I mentioned this. There was a report of 5.5-inch hail yesterday in Iowa with those severe thunderstorms that is verified. So I thought I'd bring that up to you guys just so you understand how large this hail can get. But with that being said, that is going to wrap up this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Be sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you are new. It helps me out, helps me make more videos like these. It also helps inform more people about what's going on. And with that being said, have a wonderful day. And if you're in this moderate and enhanced risk area, just the only thing I can say is take this very seriously. When you are told to seek shelter, and most importantly, stay safe.